Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Quantum Zobua here, and today we are building our lab. I'm talking our Dino lab. Basically, if y'all look straight underneath, you can see that I cut out a huge chunk compared to my other buildings. I mean, look, you guys saw me build the workshop. It was a pretty big building. You saw me build the iron farm. It wasn't the biggest, but it looks nice. Well, look at the cutout I made for this. Basically, the plan is right under me right now, I'm going to have the entrance, and then each of these four corners of the star are going to essentially have a section of the dino making process. So I'm going to have the sifters fully automated on one end. I'm going to have the analyzers fully automated on another. And then, the bats, everything else that you need, so that it's a fully automated system, basically. It's where we make dinos. But in order to do that, I need some resources. I laid out some barrels. It is time to go and steal a little bit, because remember, light stealing is encouraged and allowed on the server, and I promise I'll pay it back. I mean, shoot, I think I've had like 2,500 iron blocks stolen from that building, so let's do it. I feel like the obvious choice here to steal ingredients for concrete is going to be banana milkshake, because, you know, why not steal from a boy? He has like 45k gravel, like 44k sand. He's got a bunch of clay, all kinds of stuff. This machine he made is solid, and I find myself stealing from it more than I probably should, but he encourages it, so, you know, it's all good. Alright, so once I had all my white concrete powder made up, I went over to Jacob, the Sauropod Squad's workshop, because I could wash it all. Now, hold on. Shout out to Neat right here, because she made a crazy food generator. It makes like bacon sandwiches and like BLTs, and you know, like that one sub that you get from Jimmy John's that is just freaking amazing. I don't remember what the hell it is, but it's like one of the classic ones. Dude, I swear to God, she makes a sandwich that looks just like that. Anyway, basically, if you guys don't know much about the Create mod, you throw in stacks, they get pushed in front of a fan that's blowing through water, and it like blows that moisture and, quote, washes the stuff. With concrete powder, what it does is it actually blows the moisture and it hardens up the concrete, so it's a quick and easy way to like wash a whole stack at a time. So I was able to fly through these, get all my concrete made, and get back to my build. Side note, while I'm here, you can also use it as like a quick smelter. So what I did here is I threw sand in and I smelted it into glass. It takes like 15 seconds, but it smelts an entire stack in that time. So it's super fast, and you do the same thing, only instead of using water, you'll use lava or you'll use fire, depending on what the ingredient that you're putting in is. Certain ones take different ones to smelt. Well, what do you guys think? So I put a whole bunch of glass basically kind of on like the straight sections. I can't call them straight, they're curved. But I put concrete with like wood around there, made a nice little entrance. I think it looks beautiful. Obviously, we have a long way to go, but it's a pretty solid layout. It's like 10 blocks tall. I might make it a little taller, we'll see. But for now, like, I think that's plenty of room for each side. And we'll just kind of go from there. Alright, y'all, so I was getting ready to start my sifter room, and I walk in and I find these guys. It doesn't make any sense because it's behind glass. I guess they spawned in there. But if they spawned in there, where is their banner guy? I didn't see him anywhere. I looked all around the lab, and he is nowhere to be found. So let's go get some stuff, and let's go in there and kill them. They can't be here. Yeah, that'll teach you. Don't ever show up in my lab again. I guarantee you don't want to live here. You won't enjoy it. That being said, back to my sifter room. So basically my sifter room is going to be a automated like fossil machine where I'm going to have a cobblestone generator hooked up to some create mod drills. Those drills are going to drill out the cobblestone, then run it through a millstone, which will turn the cobblestone into gravel. The gravel will then be run over sifters, and the sifters have a like 20% chance or 5%, or I don't know, it's some chance to get a biofossil and a plant fossil. Sure, there's still like the tar fossils, but I'm going to do that a different way. As well as it gets me a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of gold and bone meal and all kinds of stuff. So basically then I'm going to have anything that is fossils be separated into one vault, and anything that is not fossils go into the other vault, which I will open up to the server. And if any of you SMP members are listening and you want any of the stuff in the left vault, come by, grab it whenever you want. Well, here it is. I have all the basic mechanics, like the create machine side of this build, kind of set up so it auto separates it. Basically, I have the left and the right funnel with filters on them so that only fossils go into the right vault. And now I just have to connect it to that huge steam machine that I made last episode. But although it may not look pretty, this machine is pretty much ready to go. Well, welcome to my maintenance tunnels. I don't know if I showed this last episode or not, but basically I have a whole like set of corridors that connect all my buildings and all my power connections underground. And they're big enough that I can actually run in them and edit them. So I can make branches, make new pathways, make all that stuff. So it's perfect for running power over to this area and running it up to my clutch and my variable speed controller, so I can shut off this machine when I don't want to use it. So I was recording and testing out how my new machine worked, making sure it all works good before I move on to the next one. When the Sauropod squad jumped in game and asked if I wanted to hop in a Discord call, I did hop in with him, and basically I explained to him that when I was in his workshop, I might have accidentally turned his lava into an obsidian. And I didn't have a diamond pickaxe, so I left it. Apologies, I didn't record his side of the audio, but I still thought it was kind of funny. But thing is, like, I can just, sure, iron's not as good, but I can just run through because I have so much iron. I just haven't cared. But anyway, I accidentally turned your lava obsidian in your workshop. Oh, you just gone. So this part I'm really proud of. I think it really makes the build pop. But basically you can take a smart observer and you can stick it next to a vault, and then stick a display link on there and connect the display link between the smart observer and a display board. And you can actually make it show what is in there. You can have it show what's in there, how many there are, a percent filled. You can even have a progress bar. So basically what I did is I set it up so that I have a progress bar and it shows the percent filled on the vault on the left. So I know when my junk vault is getting full, I can stop the machine and empty it out. And I can always have it show basically the contents of the right vault so that I can see how many of each type of fossil I have in there. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I'm really proud of this one. So here was a fun moment as far as like my whole park goes. I got the achievement for making my first analyzer. I was pretty stoked for that. For those of you guys that don't know, from the Fossils and Archeology mod, you use an analyzer to stick fossils in, and it gives you DNA for like different dinosaurs, so that you can use that with biogoo to bring them back to life. Sorry about that, but come on, could I really call myself a Minecraft video if I didn't put just quick shots of somebody placing a bunch of blocks? It's that shot, and it's the shot of overhead where like you zoom down as somebody quickly builds up with replay mod. Dude, number 1 and number 2, like most common shots in all of Minecraft. Anyway, so what I did for this part is basically I'm gonna have my fossils go from a vault in the front. They are going to drop down onto a conveyor belt underground, and then they're going to get pushed up with a fan and some chutes onto another conveyor belt through some brass tunnels. And the brass tunnels will basically auto separate the fossils. So if I put 16 fossils in at once, it will split them up because it will split them up into like 16 sections, so that they can all be divided equally into the different analyzers. From that point, they will be analyzed into whatever DNA I need them to be, or whatever it decides that they're going to be, and then they'll be dropped down underneath the analyzers into the ground, and they will head over to my next section of the building, which is actually going to be my freezer. So when it comes to the freezer, or the deep freeze, just like every other room that I've built so far, I have to clear out the ground, I have to replace it with concrete. Yeah, I have to make it look pretty, because nobody likes an ugly build. In fact, pretty builds, they kinda do it, you know? Anyway, I started by putting down some basic vaults. These are going to be like the centers of where the vaults are going to be. And then I went underground to where the belt runs from my analyzer, and I put a fan at the end, which I'm going to basically run a mechanism with and hook up to power so that I can shoot air up through a bunch of different chutes. And just like in the analyzer room, I will be able to raise the items up so that I can push them up to be sorted into the like deep freezers. I thought about pushing like 4 different sections up so that each vault has its own fan, but I thought it would be a lot cooler if I pushed up at one point and then just moved it over. Once I had that all kind of set up down below and connected, I realized I needed to do my belts. So what I did is I put smart chutes on top of each of the vaults. That way that I can put filters on there to accept certain types of DNA. At this point, once again, for probably the frickin' millionth time, I ran out of belts. And if you guys don't know, the way to get belts is you go and you get a bunch of kelp, just gather a whole bunch, you smelt it, into like that dried kelp, that like burnt kelp crap, and then 6 of that turn into 1 belt. Keep in mind that sounds really tough, but 1 belt, who left this on? You're welcome, Jacob. Anyway, 1 belt does not necessarily do 1 spot. 1 belt does 1 like strand, so I can make it like 20 blocks long and only use 1 belt. So once I had my new belts and everything that I needed, I came back to my freezer so I can finish up the last few little sections of it. And lo and behold, I found a new little friend. Yep, it's one of those guys. I found a traitor. I don't know how he got up there, honest to God, but I left him and I stole his llamas because I thought, hey, you know who needs llamas? I know somebody that needs llamas. So I walked him over with a lead, loaded him up on the plane, figured, hey, will they stay attached? Let's find out. And sure enough, they do. They kind of just fly with you. I do feel a little bad about this. I dragged them a little low, and right there, I lost one. But I made it all the way over to the sauropod, Jacob's house. Landed at his runway after seeing his beautiful, beautiful, beautiful enclosure. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, go check it out. He's got dozens and dozens of different herbivores right now. Really, really cool build. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to bring him a llama. My first thought was, let's stick it to the windmill and have it spin around, but that didn't work out. So I figured this is probably good enough. Leave it on his porch. Who doesn't appreciate a good llama, you know? I mean, it was almost Christmas time at the time. So I figured, you know, Merry Christmas, enjoy your llama. And then I realized, I'm not sure if I know how to spell llama, so I tried furry friends. Turns out that doesn't fit on one line. So I took a chance. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell llama. I don't think I actually looked it up. But if you're seeing this, Jacob, let me know if you found your gift yet. Because I know that you were offline for a couple weeks dealing with some personal stuff. What was that sound? Jesus, scared the heck out of me. Anyway, once I got back, I realized my freezer is mostly done, so I just turned around and started making the floor. I want to make kind of a cool design, so I decided I'm going to do like almost pathways around the edge with like a dark concrete, not black, but I'm going to use like a gray concrete, and then I'm going to fill in the rest with like a white, you know, the whitish concrete color, the white concrete. That way that it kind of like generates paths that go in one big square all the way around my circle in the center. And then I have sections that kind of break off from there. So as you can see, it just kind of, honestly, it looks pretty good. And then I just have a section that goes to each of the 4 pathways. Back to the freezer. So now that I had everything set up, it was time to test out. So I threw a couple stacks of fossils into the analyzers. You can see some bone meal going. I think I saw some sand. There's a fossil, and there's the second one. A red one and a yellow one, which I believe red is like mammals and yellow is a certain period. I don't really remember which one it is off the top of my head, but you can see them coming in here. So the system is working great. I still need to finish setting all the filters. As you can see, I have most of the yellow guys set, but there's still a lot to do. Now I need to go and test out with tar fossils. If you guys haven't seen this, I got tired of all the worms on the server, so I turned around and made this. Every time that I'm at spawn, I just dump my worms in here. And we're going to fill a vault one day. So this was one of the first builds they built on the server. It is the pub. It looks beautiful, and basically below us we have a tar generator where I can actually come in and grab tar drops. I was a little surprised to find out this was the first time I held tar drops. I actually hadn't held any tar before this, which is kind of crazy, honestly, but, you know, I guess there you go. So once you put it in, we can test out the tar drops. Takes about 10 seconds, and you'll see all the analyzers light up. There it is. So they are now analyzing tar drops, which will give us tar fossils. It also gives a lot of coal, charcoal, all kinds of different things like that. But just like all the other fossils, they should kick out of the bottom. Yep, there goes some different stuff. Oh, there's a tar fossil. There's a second tar fossil. And you can turn around and run those tar fossils back through. All right, so the freezer is done for now. It's time to move on to our biogoo farm. So for those of you that don't know, in order to make biogoo, you have to combine 4 things. You have to have milk, you have to have wheat, you have to have zombie flesh, and you have to have eggs. So I dug a hole underneath where these vaults are, and I figured down below I'm going to set up a machine that can kind of automate, like make our wheat for us. And what it will do is, just like a lot of other basic crate harvesters, we're just going to have a spinning set of harvesters that trim the wheat. What happens is as they spin around, they will actually harvest any wheat that's fully grown, and then it will auto take the seeds and replant any wheat that is not grown. Then I hook it up to a chest. That chest will end up running into the hoppers, and those hoppers will push everything up using a fan all the way up to the vault up above so we can use it for biogoo. This is a decent way to make it. I ended up changing it from the wind turbine to actually a water wheel down below, just because a water wheel tends to move a little faster, and it just looked better in my opinion. Not that I need it to move faster, but I don't know, it just seemed nicer to me. So once I have it all set up, I plant the seeds, get them going, and it will be ready to automate itself from this point forward, as long as it doesn't get stopped by some entity. And I gotta tell you, later on when I was dealing with the chickens, God, they stopped it every 2 seconds. Alright, at this point, I need to get the cow. So in order to get buckets of milk, I need to put empty buckets into a deployer, have that deployer poke the cow with the bucket. It will fill with milk, and then I need another line that comes back and takes the bucket of milk to send upstairs. Once the bucket of milk is upstairs, it will get grabbed by my system, used to make biogoo, and then I need to make a way where it returns the empty one back down. So as you can see down here, it's pretty much set up. Now I just had to go and get a cow. I'm just gonna apologize right now for this because I went back to Jacob's place. Also, look at this sick landing. Just saying. Killed it. You call me Sully. Just kidding, that was a joke. My bad. Anyway, I stole one of Jacob's cows. Up until this video comes out, I'm not sure that he noticed. And I'm pretty certain that he doesn't care. That being said, I definitely didn't ask permission. So, you know, he always tells me light stealing's allowed. I did the old llama thing, tracked it behind my plane again. This is always terrifying. I'm always scared that, like, the line's gonna break somehow, and it's just gonna, I don't know, drop to its death, and I'm gonna feel horrible. I know it's just a Minecraft cow, but, like, dude, I'll feel horrible. Alright, so once I got this guy back, I dragged him all the way down, shoved him into his spot, where once I turn it all on, he can be poked away, and I can start harvesting milk. Come on, man, get back just a little more. I need you in the right spot. This was a pain. It took me like 10 minutes to push him back far enough to get one more piece of dirt in here. Alright, so now that we have wheat up here and we have milk, I threw a few chickens down there on top of some hoppers, and as they lay eggs, the eggs will get pushed up. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to make a whole mob farm, so I went and stole a couple thousand zombie flesh from Smithy. He's got a grinder, and then I sat there and AFK'd to make it up. Thanks, Smithy, I appreciate it. If you guys haven't checked out Smithy's channel, go check it out. The links are definitely down below. Alright, at this point, I needed some type of a mechanical arm. Now, mechanical arms are annoying because you have to put 3 different things into the deployers, and then you have to run golden sheets through 5 times. So you put a golden sheet that gets pressed with a small cog, then a large cog, then an iron nugget. And the most annoying part is not only do you do it, but then you have to pick it up and do it again. So watch this. It'll get run through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way through. So all 4 just got done. They're not done. They're only 20% of the way done because they need to get run through 5 different times. And even then, they only have an 80% chance of success. There's still a 20% chance that they will just break at the end. So even though my system is pretty solid, I still have to run back and forth 5 times just to deal with these things. And I got super unlucky with these and had 2 break, and I had to redo it. It sucked. So once I had that all set up, I set up some mechanical crafters. Basically, you want to change these so they point all in the direction where you want them to move. And then I set down my mechanical arms. If you pick up a mechanical arm and you right-click it, any blue sections are where it's going to pick up from. You click it twice, it'll turn orange. And the orange section is where you are going to have it drop off from. So for most of these, I just have the basic standard pickup drop off. For the one that's grabbing the milk bucket, I actually have it pick up the milk bucket, drop it off, then again drop off the empty bucket back into a hopper so that it can, or a chute, so it can go into the system to go back down and be filled with milk again from the cow. So it was a basic circulating system, nothing too crazy. But honestly, it was kind of a pain in the ass, and took me way more stress and way more time than I think it ever should have. So once I have that set up, this is the return system for the milk. Once I have the vaults all made and built up, I can kick that out. At this point, I went over to get some iron, and I noticed something. Even though people have been taking all my iron, which I appreciate, I made it for people to take, I'm finally over 3,000 blocks. Like, that's blocks of iron. So what, that's 27,000 iron ingots? Like, that's outrageous. That is so much iron, and I'm so happy. And look at the fossils. I'm at, what is that, like 389 plant fossils and 200 and something of the biofossils? That is so freaking cool. All right, so once I got to this point, I built up my vault, worked on making my vault a little bit bigger because it's going to hold all of this biogoo, and it will actually hold the empty buckets as well before they're kicked back into the system and like recycled through to be refilled. By having this whole recycling system means that I never have to deal with it again. The same buckets will just be cycled again and again. I did make a mistake here. I chose andesite, which kicks out everything. If I chose a brass funnel, I can actually put a filter on it to make sure that only milk buckets come out. I know this has been a lot, you guys. It's kind of crazy. I'm excited about how it's turning out. There's still so much more to do. But I think I gotta end it here for now. We gotta make this a two-parter. I hope you guys dug it. Till next time, I promise we'll finish the lab. This is Quantum Zobua. I love y'all. And I'm out.